Welcome to Real Girl Talk. I am your host, Sherry Ricard. I empower women to stand in their purpose, to succeed despite the odds stacked against them, and to live their life knowing they're enough and worthy. Join me each week for powerful messages and interviews that will inspire you to create the life that you want. Now let's go. Hello there, my friends. It's Sherry Ricard, the host of Real Girl Talk podcast show. I'm so glad to have you back listening to the show. I have a guest on today, and I'm going to tell you right now, Judy Zieto is an Angel Mom from the Angel Mom organization. She was in Washington, D.C., on Capitol Hill, and she is fighting the fight of her life, fighting for justice for Blake, and that's her son. And Judy, I want to welcome you to the show. Thank you so much for coming on. I know it's not easy, but you've gotten such a fire in you, girl. And you are on fire, and you are fighting for justice for Blake. And I want to thank you for coming on, because your story is so important, as well as all the other Angel Moms, to get the word out there about what's going on in our country today and what you are doing to fight for justice for Blake. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. We
You
need
bet.
to get awareness. We have to get awareness out of what is happening in this country.
You are definitely right. And you and I were talking before the show, and I want you to tell our listeners a little bit about the Angel Mom organization and what you guys are doing for our country right now.
The president calls us Angel Moms. It's a group of moms that join together, and the organization that I'm in is called AVIAC. It's Advocates for Victims of Illegal Alien Crime. There's so much crime in the United States that is committed by illegal aliens, murder, hit and run, rape, molestation. It goes on and on. But you do not hear about it in the media unless you are watching Fox. It is the politicians have pretty much swept it under the rug. So
I don't understand that. I don't understand that, Judy, because listen, you and I are in the same club, right? So we've both lost children. We're members of Sisters in Sorrow, which is an organization here in Louisiana. And Judy and I have known each other for a while. And, her story's a little different, that her son was murdered and she's been trying to find his killer for 12 years. And what I don't understand, Judy, and help us understand, if it's possible, why we are not seeing the Angel Moms on CNN and some of these other media outlets.
Because the politicians, they say that this is manufactured. They say we do not have a crisis. They do not want the public to know what is actually going on in this country. What they want to do is they want to bring them in. Every illegal they bring in, that's a vote. So
That's
they
insane.
do not, exactly. And the money that is spent on illegal immigration, we have homeless veterans. We have children in foster care that need to be adopted. We need to concentrate on the crisis that's in our country instead of them saying that there's no invasion of illegals coming in. I forgot how many tens of thousands now. And what's happening is, if you come to the border with a child, we basically have to let you in. The politicians are saying that this is manufactured.
I don't understand the manufactured word, because you're manufacturing, what are you manufacturing? The fact that Blake has died 12 years ago? Because that's a fact.
Right. And that's when we went to Pelosi's, when I was in Washington and we went into our office, we carried pictures of our children with us. I had this on, and then I don't know if you can see my son's picture.
I can. Oh yeah. I've seen him before. He's beautiful.
Thank you. I had his picture, and we held him up, and we were all the Angel Moms were in her office, and we held him up, and we're saying, if our children's death is manufactured, then you bring our children back to us.
Oh,
well,
right.
She never would come out. She was hiding behind her walls.
Well, okay, so she wouldn't come out and speak to you, but yet she took an oath that she would speak and protect the American citizens. So I'm confused.
Right. And she has a big plaque outside of her office that says visitors welcome.
That
But
says
we were
visitors
not
welcome,
welcome
but
there.
not Angel Moms.
We were not welcome there. The police called on us.
So tell us, Judy. I want you to tell everybody a little bit about Blake, and if you can, I know you've really got some strength here in the last few years, and you're able to talk about Blake more without breaking down as well as I have, because I know in order for me, as hard as it is sometimes to talk about Brant and I have to hold back tears, I've really, really gained a lot of strength in the last few years, because I know without holding back the tears, I can't get my point across a lot of times.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about Blake and what happened to him with this person that is still free to murder other people.
Blake was 20 years old, and he was riding his motorcycle, going to meet a friend, actually going to meet a friend at McDonald's. We had just moved. We had lived in Baton Rouge for a very long time, and we had just moved to Denham Springs. So this happened actually in Denham. We had moved there. We had been there about 3 months when this happened. And he was just going down the road. The man's name is Jesus Maltos Chacon. He is he is actually a criminal, illegal alien from Mexico. 2-time criminal offense. His second offense, he was only 6 months before he killed my son. He turned without, witnesses said he never stopped, slowed down, anything. He made a left-hand turn into my son and completely ran over my child. My child hit the top of the truck, hit the windshield. Blake did have a helmet on. Blake and his motorcycle landed underneath this man's truck. So this man tried to flee the scene by driving back and forth, trying to release his truck so that he could flee. But when the truck caught on fire, he got out and ran. He left open alcohol in the vehicle and his cell phone in the vehicle, lifted the burning truck up and pulled Blake out.
Wow.
And stayed with him into because of his injuries, they had to call air meds. Really, to this day, I still cannot believe that we came upon that accident. We were walking out of Walmart and sirens were blasting, and I looked at my husband, I said, ooh, something bad has really happened. The closer we got going home, we saw a helicopter got up. We got detoured, and I looked at my husband and I said, dear God, please don't let that be one of my kids in there. So I immediately picked up the phone, started calling. Couldn't get in touch with Blake. Got in touch with 2 girls. Couldn't ever get in touch with Blake. So when I got home, I just had this feeling. I was like, so we were calling like his girlfriend, just kept calling, never could get in touch with him. Finally, my phone rang. And it was the little guy that had bought my house in Baton Rouge. We had kept in touch with him. And he was on the phone. My daughter answered the phone, and she was like, Mama, she said, it's Pat, and he's saying that state police is looking for you.
Oh, because he came to your old house.
They went to my old house. Blake had never changed his address.
And did you just know in your gut right then, Judy?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I think I was in shock.
Right.
I remember things now. I didn't I don't know. I didn't go crazy like you would think I would. I would have thought I would have went crazy. I don't know.
Right.
It was like God put me in shock. Just, I guess, to get through this.
Right.
I didn't lose it till probably after the funeral.
Yeah.
Is when I totally lost it. But
yeah,
when we got to the hospital, we were not allowed to see him. They told us we did not want to remember him like that. And I remember falling apart and telling them, I need to see him. And they were like, and my niece is a nurse, and she said, let me go back there. And he said, no, you don't want to remember your cousin like that. And then I remember the coroner being there. And I remember talking to the coroner and begging him, please don't do an autopsy. I'm like, why are you here? You know? And he's like, well, we have to do an autopsy. And I was like, why? Please don't do that to my baby. His body's battered enough. Please don't do, that. Blake was the baby of the family. And so
right.
he was like, well, this is a criminal case. And if it ever goes to court, then we have to prove that Blake died from these injuries. And that's when I guess, found out the police were there, but we had not talked to him about the man that killed Blake and why now this would be a criminal case against this man, because he did flee the scene. And as today, he's never been caught. He's wanted, but he's never been caught.
Now, you said that he was a criminal prior, 6 months prior. What were his crimes prior to him killing Blake?
A DWI, never deported.
Never deported.
No. And the second one looked like an accident, turning left, and no driver's license, no insurance, that kind of stuff.
Nothing.
Never deported. When Blake's accident, the first time Blake's accident happened, they gave me a copy of old criminal offense. I guess you call them a mugshot. They gave me a copy of a mugshot that was taken probably back in the early 90s, which didn't even look like this man. And when it went on TV about Blake, it showed this, the mugshot of this man. Well, that's not even what he even looked like.
Right.
So I have the second offense copy. This man looks totally different. But because I was so determined that I had to tell my child goodbye, they put a blanket on him and they just let me see his hand. They completely covered him with a blanket, and I got to say goodbye to his hand. It was after that reality set in, and that's when I basically I fell apart. I lost it. It was like my life. I died with my child.
I understand, and I completely understand that, Judy. I mean, my heart goes out to you because my heart has lost a teenage son, so I understand that pain.
Yes, you too, because it is the most horrific grief. People say things will get better, time will heal all wounds, but you never ever get over the death of a child.
No, you're never going to get over. And I think that what I am so proud of you, and you're such an inspiration because, and you're going to continue to be an inspiration for moms, is that you are not going to ever get over the death of Blake. You're going to continue to fight for justice for Blake. And right now you're fighting for not just Blake, but you're fighting for the rest of these moms that have lost children. And you're fighting for moms that haven't lost children, but possibly could. So tell us a little bit about the organization that you're in and what exactly you guys are doing to help us and help our innocent children that are out there walking the streets, driving the streets with these criminal, illegal immigrants that are driving around that are undocumented and could possibly we could fall victims to the same situation that Blake did.
What we're doing is we're making awareness. We're making awareness of the drugs that are coming across into our country. There's so many children that are addicted to drugs because of the flow of drugs from Mexico and from other countries that are just pouring into our country, and trafficking children, trafficking women into our country also. We don't want another mother, father, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandparents. I mean, this affects everybody. And a lot of people are not aware of what is happening, that they are just walking over. There's parts of our country that do not have a fence. We do not have any type of border. Not only are they driving around in cars with no driver's license, and what's happening is it is so many hit and runs. As soon as this happens, they get out and they flee. Where do they go back? Back to their country of origin, where they came from.
Right.
The United States gives away so much taxpayers' money, medical, food stamps, housing, all these cell phones that you see, see them on, that's all paid by you and I, the taxpayers. My son's death was preventable.
Right.
That is what I want to do. That is what the organization of ABAC is. It is to stop the inflow. It's to make awareness so that this does not happen to anybody else, that you don't have to lose a loved one.
You know more than I do on this, because by no means am I don't get into the political rat race, but this infuriates me, number one, because they're grieved moms, and I am a grieved mom, not from a criminal, illegal immigrant killing my child. My child was just killed in a tragic car accident, and he was by himself. But I have a big place in my heart for you moms, because you have lost children. And I also am a little angry. I'm a little angry that the Angel moms would stand there, and you have some of these politicians telling them that this is manufactured. No mother,
Right.
no mother on the face of this earth that has any type of soul, conscious, or heart would manufacture the death of their child. That's insanity. Right. Absolute
Right.
insanity. And my thing is, if this was their child, would the tables turn? If this was their child, the politicians that are not supporting you, which one of their children or grandchildren are they willing to sacrifice and call it manufactured?
Exactly.
It's just infuriating. So I know that you're glad the president is holding the line on this.
Yes,
correct?
I am. Yes, I am. And for many years, Blake's accident was in 2006, and I had no one. I had no one to help me politically. I was not into politics at all.
Right.
Until Donald Trump came on TV, said he was going to run for president, and then he wanted to run about securing the borders. And it was like a godsend. Oh my gosh, now somebody, that's running for this, our borders actually may be secure now.
Right.
And no other parent has to go through what we're going through.
Well, but we were talking about this in the previous administration with Obama.
Never happened.
But it just
he had money for the wall. He had money for the wall. He never spent it on the wall.
Right.
And if you go to some places, because I'm not our Angel Moms, I haven't been, but I am going to go down to Texas. I want to see for myself. But there is only like little pieces of sticks, and that's the wall. Or they might be a little piece of barbed wire, and that's the border. Now, imagine this, going and crossing into another country illegally. See what will happen.
Right.
I guarantee you, you're not going to get so much money per month to live off of housing and food stamps. You're going to be put in prison.
So this is basically all about just a political agenda.
It is a political agenda.
It's not about doing what's right for your son, Blake, or for anyone else. And the fact that you've never been able to get justice for him, and you're continuing to fight this fight. I've always said there's nothing scarier than the wrath of a mama.
Right.
And you're a mama on the wrath.
Yes, I am. I was invited to Washington to speak at a press conference. We went to Pelosi's office. The bill had not been signed yet, and she would not come out. She was behind her walls. She had her secretary. We made phone calls. We even videoed ourselves making phone calls, asking for a meeting with her, let her know when we would be there, and to please set some time aside to talk to us. Would not come out. She sent the police in there to get us, to arrest us. But because we were not being violent, we were not harassing anyone, all we wanted was a meeting. And we stood there with her staff. She knew we were there, holding the pictures of our dead children. Some of them holding pictures of them in the morgue. just to show her this is not manufactured. This is real.
Mm-hmm.
What is it going to take for them to wake up? Is it going to take the loss of a child, the loss of a loved one, to know that this is real, that this is happening every day? There's approximately 10 Americans per day that is killed by illegal aliens. And that's not the crime of violence with the gangs or the drugs or the trafficking.
Right.
That's people that are murdered, or and I say my son was murdered because this man, an accident, if you commit an accident, if you have an accident, you are going to get out and you're going to help that person. You're going to stand around and you're going to help that person.
Well, the bottom line is, Judy, if they caught this guy, he would go to prison for murder. He wouldn't go to prison or vehicular homicide or whatever. He wouldn't get a pat on the back and say it was an accident. So of course Blake was murdered.
But and this is again, politicians, the judges are only giving them very lenient sentences. My good friend Sabina Durden, her child, this happened in California. Same thing, 2-time criminal offense. Her son killed on a motorcycle. He fled, but witnesses tracked him down and they got him. He was sentenced with, I think 9 months in jail. He served 35 days and was set free. If they're going to be deported, they're on this big deportation line that they'll never get a hearing for.
Right.
That's just like all of these caravans that are coming across right now. They're not going to stick around for a hearing.
No.
From what I was told, Jesus was supposed to appear for 2 hearings. He never did.
He's wanted, and he's been wanted for 12 years for killing Blake. Do you believe that he's in the country, or do you believe that he's fled?
I think that he is jumping the border. His family's from Eagle Pass, Texas, which is right on the border. The border is so porous that they hop right over.
Okay.
One time he was, they found out he was in Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota. I don't know if he tried to cross maybe into Canada. I don't know. But he's hopping back and forth. He had a wife here, and he had 2 anchor babies here. And he had an older son here that was about Blake's age. Now, they did catch him, and they did deport him.
Okay.
Because witnesses kept seeing him run. He ran from the truck also. And witnesses kept seeing him go to a trailer because the man was turning into a trailer park.
So he actually had somebody else in the truck with him.
He had somebody else in the truck with him. He had his son in the truck with him.
All right. Well, Judy, I again, thank you so much for coming on. And
you're welcome. Anytime.
I want to spread the awareness too, because my heart just goes out to all of the Angel Moms, this organization. They're fighting for all of us. And I mean, it's clear that the media doesn't want to have a conversation about the plight of the Angel Moms. And I don't understand that. But these tragedies are real. They're not manufactured. And I think it's too often that we have the illegal immigration is such a problem, and too often that they're committing crimes. Not all of them, but you can enter this country legally and
do it the right way.
And when they're committing crimes, they need to go. Right. We have enough crimes right now by Americans. We don't need more criminals coming over illegally from these other countries committing more crimes on top of the crimes we're trying to solve in America.
Exactly. And we have Angel Moms that are legal immigrants into this country.
Wow.
That have waited in line, that have paid their money, that had to sign papers saying they would not take any help financially from the United States. They have lost children to illegal aliens. This is not manufactured.
No, it's real. It's real, and it's sad.
People need to wake up, because the man that killed my son, he could be out driving in somebody's neighborhood and it can happen to them. That's what I want to do and that I promise justice for Blake. I'll never give up just getting justice for Blake. I will continue to fight this fight and do what I can and speak to representatives and congressmen and senators and just anybody to get this word out.
Well, what can we do? What can we do, Judy, to help you as listeners?
You need to contact your senators, your congressmen. Today I called Senator Cassidy on, they were voting today to block President Trump's emergency declaration. He's declared national emergency, and if you watch the channels that televise all these caravans that are coming over with illnesses, with measles, mumps, rubella, all the illnesses that have been tuberculosis, the illnesses that have been dormant for years, polio, they're invading our country. They're coming in and they're being allowed in, and they have these diseases now. People need to be aware of what is happening. Not only is your tax dollar being spent on this, and so therefore, when the government says we don't have the money to do this and we don't have the money to do that, well, so much money is spent on these illegal aliens and rewarded with so much stuff. People just need to be aware.
And I thank you, Judy. I thank you so much for continuing to fight the fight. And guys, if you're listening, join Judy, help Judy bring awareness, call your senator, call your congressman, make sure that they know that you are standing with the Angel Moms and fighting on securing our borders. Thank you again, Judy. And
you're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. And until next week, guys, remember to keep your encouragement tank full and keep your faith in God. Step out of your comfort zone. And I have to end with saying, call your senator, call your congressman, stand hand in hand with the Angel Moms to secure our borders, to make our country safe and secure against the criminal, illegal immigration that's happening in our country today.